Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Burgundy Zone. I am your host, Kyle, and I am joined by my co-host, Michael Hall.
What do you do?
And welcome to our Humpday special. We have a bunch of news that came about today. We're still going to have the episode tomorrow night. Don't have to fret about that, guys. But before we get into anything about what happened today, the news of practice, got to give some apologies out to Dwayne Haskins. Because last night we went ham hard on Dwayne Haskins and the whole sickness part. And I feel like we owe him an apology because it's now public knowledge that he is sick. That is a legit thing. So I wanted to apologize. I did overstep my boundaries there. We assumed.
Yeah. Should they wouldn't know what they say. When you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. And we definitely assumed and made ourselves look like asses. So my bad, Dwayne. You really are truly sick, and I apologize.
Absolutely.
It's Washington, man. Like, what do you expect? You always expect the worst.
Absolutely. No, so let's talk about some of the news that came across today. The latest news, Brandon Scherff was practicing today, so the Washington football team has 21 days to be able to designate him able to be playing on the active roster, or they have to put him on the IR for the rest of the season. Hall, when do you expect to see Scherff?
Well, I think I heard that he was back out at practice today. I don't know if he was doing drills, individual drills, or whatnot. I didn't get all that part of it, but I know he's back out there today.
He was limited.
Limited, okay. So, kind of probably. I mean, if he comes back this week, it'd be great because kind of randomly, this Giants defense is not as bad as everyone thought they are. Or thought they would be.
It's true.
So it would definitely be great to have him back this week. But I think that we're going to target the Cowboys game in 2 weeks for him to make that comeback because obviously that's a big rivalry, a big division game, and
Yep.
depending on if we win, get a W against the Giants, hopefully this Sunday, Dallas takes an L to the Cardinals on Monday night. That week, what would it be? Week 7 game sets up to be a pretty big showdown down in Dallas. So
Divisional matchup.
divisional matchup against our big most heated rival. So
Yep.
if not this week, which I don't think it'll be this week, I think definitely unless he has a setback, I'm going to target Week 7 against the Cowboys.
Yeah, and actually got some first-team reps today. And when that happened, Wes Martin stayed at left guard, and Wes Schweitzer was actually watching. And that being said, Chase Royer did not actually practice, which was big to me. Okay, whoa, that's something that is something to be cause for concern because not only is left guard kind of an issue right now, center is now going to be an issue come Sunday, and hopefully Keith Ishmael gets the nod if Chase Royer can't go, but that's something to monitor, Washington fans. Hopefully we keep up with that news throughout the week to make sure that Chase does come back and is healthy enough to play. And Ron talked about in his presser with Brandon, it's not about Brandon practicing. The most important day is tomorrow and seeing how Brandon comes back from practicing. If he's sore in that injured place, most likely he's going to have to go back like Sadik Charles did earlier on. And speaking of Sadik Charles, Mike,
Yes,
he was spotted at left guard next to Sadik Charles, and the entire right side of the offensive line was fine and straight. They didn't move them. That's huge news. Do you think that that's going to continue to be a thing?
Well, let me first off just start off by saying I know you are size because you've been screaming from a mountaintop that you think City Charles would be a great left guard and we can plug and play him ASAP. So let me start off by saying that. Congratulations on nailing that right on the head.
Well, no, it's not. It hasn't happened yet. I mean,
I know. I'm just saying, like,
I
it
just
does
know.
happen.
I just know that if I am so much more happy when he's at left guard because I know that he's immediately going to ball.
Right, of course. But now, yeah, I mean, I would love to see that. He's our young rookie, our 4th-round pick. Everyone's waiting to see see what he can do as far as getting on the field and what kind of talent he'll bring to the NFL. So, yeah, I think left guard with Sadik being there is huge. Hopefully it's just a rest day for Rouye and he'll be back tomorrow, or he'll just get a week off of rest and then hopefully he'll be there Sunday because they're going to, like I said yesterday, by all accounts, Chase Rouye, you don't hear anything bad about how he got dominated, how he got beat, how he made the wrong protection calls and stuff like that. So he's a pretty good center. We need him out there on Sunday.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And with that being said, let's talk about Wes Schweitzer. He actually played pretty well. He had that standout block on the screen pass. I believe it was Antonio Gibson. That was huge. Looks like he had to sit out there. But let's just say, hypothetically speaking, if Brandon Scherff does play on Sunday, what happens to Wes Schweitzer? Do you think that Wes Schweitzer proved enough to be able to take that left guard spot from Wes Martin?
Yeah, I think that he's a veteran. He's experienced. He's been in the NFL for a couple years now, and I believe that he showed enough to take over that left guard. I think that Wes Martin's still kind of a little bit raw. I know everyone wants to get on top of him and kind of pile on over his last week's performance but it's against Aaron Donald, the best defensive player in the league in my opinion, in a lot of people's opinion. Excuse me. But no, I think that Schweitzer should definitely get the nod, and obviously have Martin as the backup to either Scherff or Schweitzer.
Now, I really do believe. Look, I like Wes Martin. I think he has potential. He was dealt a bad hand on Sunday going against Aaron Donald and being down by multiple scores. I saw this dating back. JP actually just tweeted this not too long ago. He talked about the past 7 games. The Washington football team has been down by 2 or more scores. And the last time this happened was like in 1946 or something like that. This is bad circumstances for this offensive line because these defensive lines can just go after the quarterback at this point, and that's not a recipe for success for a young offensive line in particular. So if I'm sitting here and I really, even though I like Wes Schweitzer and what he did at right guard, I still like him better as a backup. And I just really want to see Sadik Charles. If he's healthy, I want to see him plugged in. If you're going to make any move, I think Sadik Charles is the best fit right there because I feel like once he's there, you don't have to tell him much. He's going to move people out of the way. And hopefully mentally he's ready to go with the playbook. Do you think he is?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I hopefully think that he is. Hopefully whenever these last couple weeks when he's been on IR or whatever, hopefully he's been in the playbook. Hopefully he's been studying film, watching film, kind of watching the film, practice film, and kind of like doing those mental reps in his head, getting himself prepared for when he does make this comeback. So, yeah, time will tell. I want to see what he does, but if he's ready to go and ready to play, then I definitely think that he's the more athletic, the more talented prospect, and the more talented player overall than Wes Martin, even Wes Schweitzer. So I could definitely see him playing left guard if he's ready to go and can suit up and play. Week 6 is coming up, right? Yeah, 6.
Yep. And let's talk about Ron Rivera in his presser said Kyle Allen is getting the start this weekend going against the 0-5 New York Giants. What is your confidence level with Kyle Allen? I know a lot of people on Twitter are talking about it was one drive. That's not that much. You should not be confident in it at all. People are saying that it's a huge head scratcher. Do you feel the same way?
All I can do is go based off his track record, which goes back to Carolina last year, and that quarter and 3/4 that he gave us on Sunday. Like I just mentioned before earlier, this Giants defense, surprisingly, is not that bad. I think they're ranked 8th overall in the NFL as far as total defense goes.
Yeah, and they played that Rams offense very well throughout that game. It wasn't until late that the Rams really blew that up.
Exactly. And if you go back to this Dallas game, they had Dallas up 14-3. They were causing turnovers. They were really stifling that high-powered offense led by Dak before he got injured in the Cowboys and Ezekiel Elliott. But confidence out of 10. I mean, I'm just going to stick neutral and go 5 only because I've seen the bad Kyle Allen. I've seen the good Kyle Allen. He did this and do some good things on Sunday. But again, if he's going to be the mobile kind of running around and kind of try to get that extra yard kind of quarterback, all it's going to take is one hit again. And next thing you know, he's right back to the sideline. And here comes Alex Smith. And we all saw how that turned out last week. So I'm going to go with confidence of 5 just because it is a kind of semi-tough defense. And again, he's only one hit away from being walked off the field.
Yeah, I'm about a 3. Because, as much as I liked what I saw on that first drive, it was only a first drive. And we have to put that for what it is. We have to see more. And I like what Ron Rivera talked about in his presser, and he needs to see consistency. They're not playing consistent football, and he talks about having consistent success. And that is what the Washington football team needs to gear towards. And so once I start seeing it, that's when I'll start having more confidence. But as of right now, it's about a 3. This team hasn't really showed us thus far that they are capable of that. But that being, they have played some very good teams. I believe their win record is 3/4 better than their losses for the opponents that they've lost to thus far. And their opponents coming up, it's actually pretty great numbers. Let's see here. Oh, that's actually a different number. I did not write that one down. But this one's
I know who we have coming up. I don't know their overall record. I guess I can do it in my head real quick.
but it's I think it's like 3-15. But it's I know that Mike Clay has said it's the second easiest schedule in the NFL going from here on out. So that's only great news for the Washington football team. If they can turn the season around, this is the week to do it. If you need to get right, this is the time to do it. There's no more excuses. This is the measuring stick here, people. This is the game against the Giants. Let's see how good this Washington football team really is. Have they been just inferior going against other good competition? Or is this just a team that hasn't played well thus far? And so we'll see come Sunday. What do you think that they'll be able to turn it around, Hall?
Um, my heart is telling me yes because I love this team and I like obviously they were really they're talented on both sides of the ball. It's just about all coming together and putting it together for 4 full quarters. But my mind is telling me you've seen what this offense and what this team as a whole has been doing for the last 6 weeks. Do you really think it's going to be anything different?
Yeah.
The last 5 weeks, do you really think it's going to be anything different in week number 6? So I'm going to go with my heart on this one. I think that this will be the turning point of the season. I think that if Kyle Allen can stay healthy and play all 4 quarters of this game, I think that this defense will do enough. They'll make enough plays on defense. They'll make enough stops on defense to kind of do what they did against Philly. Just put us in better positions where we don't have to travel the whole length of the field. Give us good field positions where we can get at least field goals out of the drive. So I expect it to be a semi-shootout because, again, our defense should dominate this offense. Should. And our offense should, technically, if you want to look at it, compare, should get kind of dominated by this defense of the Giants. So it should be a pretty neutralizing match.
Yeah.
And I think that, again, I should go with my mind, but my heart is telling me that I think they're going to be able to turn it around and get a W and kind of right the ship going forward for these next 11 weeks.
I'm right there with you. I truly do believe that to be the case. I said that about last week with Dwayne in particular. I thought that Dwayne was not going to have a good looking stat number going into these hard weeks, but once we start playing the Giants, the Cowboys, and these other teams, that his numbers were going to start looking better. I still feel the same way regardless of who's there at quarterback. I think this team has a chance to pull it around, and this is their opportunity to do so. This is the season right here, in my opinion. If they lose this game, I mean, that was a bad measuring stick. That would not be good.
Honestly, if they lose this game, we're looking at us and probably the Jets fighting for that number 1, number 2 pick again. So
yep.
Again, like you just said, the measuring stick is this week because on paper, every team that we've gone up against so far has been better than us. This is the one team that's kind of on our level or even below our level, honestly, because if you look on offense, our best player on offense is Terry McLaurin, which would be their best player on offense.
Mm-hmm.
Our best player on defense is probably Chase Young, who would be their best player on defense. So technically, we have a better roster on them technically right now, if not like I said, the same level. So this should be one of those games where if they go out and get dominated by a team like this, it's clear that Ron has a lot more work to do than we thought.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. I can't disagree with you there, pal. Another person I forgot to include this, Cole Holcomb was a full participant in practice today, which is great news. We saw with Gerald Everett having 90 yards receiving that covering the tight end, that slot position, is going to be difficult, and Cole Holcomb, with his speed, that's where he brings his athletic ability. Do you think he's going to get the nod this weekend?
I would hope so because going up an athletic tight end like Evan Ingram, I know that he's supposed to be their number 1 option. He's supposed to be this real deadly tight end who, again, in college at Ole Miss, he was a real big, real deadly tight end. Coming into the league, I thought he would be the same, kind of that mismatch kind of athletic tight end. Just hasn't really panned out the way that the Giants would really like it to. But, again, if you want to have a good stat line as a tight end, go up against the Washington defense. So, hopefully Cole Holcomb, like you just said, he has the speed, he's athletic to kind of keep up and run down the seams with those tight ends. So hopefully he can get, if not get the nod as a starter, definitely get as a rotation player.
Yeah, and he needs to see some playing time because it's obvious the speed in the passing game has been lacking, and that was put on full display by Sean McVay in that offense last week, and that was brutal. But they
I want to
hunkered.
say something about that, too. My bad.
No, you're good.
everyone thought like, oh, Higbee's gonna come in and kill us. We need to focus in on Higbee, blah 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 blah. I think that Sean McVay used that to his advantage to be like, they're gonna be so focused in on trying to stop Higbee and like him killing them. I'm just gonna slip Gerald Everett out there, right out around the whoop, right out in the seam. Whoop. So I mean, look, Sean McVay's a genius. So,
Look, it's actually something that I've noticed throughout the NFL, especially like obviously with my fantasy team. Obviously, my fantasy team is not a microcosm of the entire NFL, but I'm using it as a baseline. And what I'm seeing is one week a guy balls, following week he doesn't. And it's almost like what you're saying is these teams are pumping up a player, defenses are targeting him, and then they're going somewhere else and they're balling. It's almost like a teeter-totter, you know, it's just going back and forth. It's kind of how I see this NFL season, and that's kind of how I see Sean McVay using that last week, and he did a great job. It's unfortunate. It is what it is. And I feel like people are going too hard on Ron. You know, as much as we said we're going to keep this a football, just calm down off Ron, man. Just give him a little bit more time, fellas.
Yeah, it's been 5 weeks, man. Rome wasn't built in a day, and I'm not going to say by any means it's going to be Rome because it's far from it. But at least it'll be a nice little civilization that Rome rules over. You know what I'm saying? So I just give him some time to build it. Obviously, everyone, like I said, we said yesterday, that first win, that dominating win in the second half of that Eagles game, even in the first half, really, not offensive but defensive wise, kind of was like one of the worst things to happen because now everyone thought, oh, that's the expectation. That's the expectation. That's the floor. What you'd be doing every single week, you know. So it's kind of like calm your expectations down. This was a team that had huge holes, huge culture problems, huge front office problems, huge personnel problems. You can't fix it all in 5 weeks. You can't fix it all in 11 weeks or however long it's been since the offseason started. Give him until the rest of this season. Give him until next season. Give him until third season. Hell, give him all 5 years of his contract. He'll get it done.
Yeah, and I'm really excited about Sadik Charles. If they start him at left guard, I think that we are going to see a very different run game come this Sunday, regardless of who's at center. I really like Chase Royer, but I have a strong possibility that Keith Ishmael is going to be a very good professional. He's one of those guys that just has the characteristics, you know, just has the chip on his shoulder, and I'm all for that. So for this weekend, if we see Saahdiq Charles in there, I think that this could be a very, very good game for Washington fans. So, but that's going to wrap us up, everybody. This is just your Wednesday Humpday update for you guys. We want to give you, because a lot of crazy news came out today. But we'll have another episode tomorrow night. Reed will be with us. Make sure you check it out. It will be a great one with a full analytical and statistical preview of the game on Sunday versus the Giants. It's a big, big matchup. All right, everybody. I'm Kyle.
Oh.
All right, and you can catch us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Find us on iTunes Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, Google Pods. We are all over the stratosphere, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow. Watching football. Woo!